Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Checkride Chat. My name is Wally. Jason's out tonight. He's flying across the Atlantic, so I'm flying solo. I wanted to kind of tag on to an episode that we put out a few weeks ago talking about estimating true airspeed. Basically, what we told you is if you take indicated airspeed and add 2% per thousand feet, you're going to be in the ballpark of what true airspeed is. So an example that we used is you're at 5,000 feet, you're indicating 100 knots. Well, 5,000 times 2 is 10, so we add 10% to 100, which is 10, and so our true airspeed would be approximately 110 knots. I was flying from Denver to Rome last week in a 787, and I took a couple of a couple of pictures with my phone of the display that I was looking at, and I realized that this might make for some interesting talk on the channel. So take a look at this first one. Here we are. You can see, as I talk about these numbers, I'm going to highlight it on the picture so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But you can see in this first example, we're doing 335 knots indicated airspeed. If you look over here, you can see we're at 25,000 feet. Now, just a little side note about altitude. Anytime we're 18,000 feet or higher, we set our altimeters to 2992 or standard, and that's displayed right down here, STD, and that's not what you think it is. It actually stands for standard. And we call them flight levels. So we wouldn't really say we're at 25,000 feet. We would say we're at flight level 250. But basically, what flight level 250 is 25,000 feet pressure altitude because we have set our altimeter to 2992. So 25,000 feet, flight level 250. For our purposes, we're going to call it the same thing. I may occasionally refer to it at 25,000 feet. I may refer to it as flight level 250. But for our purposes, it's the same thing. But anyway, so if we take this number of 335 knots indicated airspeed, and we add 2% per thousand feet, so we're at 25,000 feet or flight level 250, 25 times 2 is 50. We add 50% to 335. That comes out to a calculated true airspeed of 502 knots. And our display here shows us what our true airspeed is, and it says 490 knots. So it's a 12-knot difference. And from a percentage standpoint, if we calculate that out, it's about a 2.3% margin of error. Now here's another example. We're up at flight level 370, 37,000 feet pressure altitude. We have an indicated airspeed of 277 knots. So 37 times 2 is 74. We add 74% to our 277. We come up with 482 calculated true airspeed or estimated true airspeed, whatever we want to call it. If we look over here and we look at our display, we can see that it is telling us that we have a true airspeed of 493 knots, an 11-knot difference. Again, a 2.2% margin of error. I think most people would say 2.5%. That's pretty close. Why do we care about all this? Well, what I find on most of my check rides is that when we get up to altitude to do the cross-country portion of the flight, most people are flying too slow. In the briefing, I'll say, what true airspeed did you calculate? And they'll give me a number, call it 110 knots. And I'll look up and we're pedaling along at about, maybe 90 knots indicated. We're at 4,000 feet. So I'm saying 98%, we're doing a true airspeed of about 97. And so we're not going to hit our checkpoints on time. We're going to be off. And for the private, the tolerance is 5 minutes. We have to hit the checkpoints within 5 minutes. For the commercial, it's 3 minutes. So it does make a difference. And, I get it. Most of the time when we're flying around cross country, we're flying slow because we're trying to build time. We want it to take longer. We want to put time in our logbook. We don't put miles in the logbook. So I get that. But anyway, I just want to show you a real world example of how this true airspeed and indicated airspeed correlation works. Obviously, the higher you are, the bigger the spread. Down at 2,000 feet, it's 4% difference. Up at 37,000 feet, it's 74% difference. So it's significant. And I don't think a lot of people understand indicated true airspeed. Everybody, when I start asking questions about this, they start throwing in ground speed. And ground speed has nothing to do with indicated airspeed or true airspeed. So anyway, that's it for tonight. We're going to be back here with an episode with the both of us here shortly. And we do have a little bit of an announcement to make about some kind of exciting upcoming news. So I'll leave that as a teaser for you to come back next time. So that's it for tonight, and we'll see you next time. Bye.